The Windows 11 taskbar was supposed to be the future. Sleeker, cleaner, more modern. Microsoft spent years redesigning it, running focus groups, testing prototypes. They moved it to the center. They rebuilt it from scratch. They said it would revolutionize how we interact with Windows. Instead, it became the single feature driving the most users to Linux Mint. Not the Microsoft account requirement, not the TPM restrictions, the taskbar, a feature so basic that breaking it pushed millions to abandon Windows entirely. And when you see what Microsoft actually did, when you understand the restrictions they imposed and the reasons behind them, you realize this wasn't a mistake. This was a deliberate choice to lock down user control. If you want to see how Microsoft lost an entire generation of power users over a toolbar, hit subscribe because this story gets worse with every detail. It started simple. Windows 11 launches in October 2021. First thing users notice, the taskbar is centered. Icons in the middle instead of the left. Okay, different, but you can change it back in settings. No big deal. Then people start customizing. That's when they discover what Microsoft removed. You can't move the taskbar anymore. In every version of Windows since Windows 95, you could drag the taskbar to the top, left, or right side of the screen. It's been there for 28 years. Windows 11, gone. Taskbar stays at the bottom, no exceptions, no registry hack, no workaround. Microsoft hard-coded it. The API doesn't support it anymore. Third-party tools can't fix it because the underlying functionality was completely removed. Thomas Berkeley is a software developer in Seattle. He's been using Windows since Windows 98. For 20 years, he's kept his taskbar on the left side of the screen. Vertical space is limited on widescreen monitors. Horizontal space is abundant. Having the taskbar on the side gives him more vertical room for code. It's muscle memory. Every application he uses assumes the taskbar is on the left. His workflow is built around it. He upgrades to Windows 11 in November 2021. Tries to move the taskbar left, can't. Searches online, finds out Microsoft removed the feature entirely. He posts on Reddit asking why. Microsoft's official response from a developer: the new taskbar was rebuilt from scratch, and moving it to different edges would require significant engineering resources they didn't prioritize. They didn't have time. They removed a 28-year-old feature because rebuilding it was too much work. Thomas is done. He spends one weekend installing Linux Mint. Within 2 days, he's got his taskbar on the left again. Everything works. He's not going back to Windows. Microsoft lost a developer with 20 years of Windows experience because they got lazy. But it's not just taskbar position. The restrictions go deeper. In Windows 10, you could resize the taskbar, make it taller, shorter, fit more icons, or fewer icons. User preference. Windows 11, you can't. The taskbar is locked at one size. You can't make it smaller to save space. You can't make it larger for better visibility. It's one size fits all, whether it fits you or not. Right-click the taskbar in Windows 10 and you get options. Toolbars, Cortana, Task View, Show Desktop button, tons of customization. Windows 11, right-click, you get taskbar settings. That's it. One option, everything else removed. No toolbars, no quick launch, no custom toolbars pointing to folders. Features users relied on for decades, gone. Sandra Mitchell runs a real estate agency in Denver. She manages 40 agents. They all used custom toolbars on Windows 10. Toolbars linked to shared network drives, frequently accessed forms, contract templates. Click the toolbar, instant access, no navigation needed. It saved hours every week. Windows 11 removes toolbars. Her agents upgrade and immediately lose access to their workflow shortcuts. She contacts Microsoft support asking how to add toolbars back. Support tells her it's not possible. The feature doesn't exist anymore. Microsoft suggests pinning folders to the Start menu instead. That's not the same. Pinning folders opens File Explorer. Toolbars gave direct access to files. Her entire Office workflow breaks. She's migrating everyone to Linux Mint. She found a distribution designed for business. It supports custom panels, toolbars, whatever they need. Cost to migrate 40 workstations, $8,000 for IT support and training. Still cheaper than dealing with Windows 11's restrictions. Microsoft lost a 40-seat Windows license renewal worth $16,000 because they deleted toolbars. Then there's the taskbar icons themselves. Windows 10 let you drag and drop files onto taskbar icons to open them with that application. Drag a photo onto the pinned Photoshop icon. Photo opens in Photoshop. Simple, intuitive, fast. Windows 11 doesn't work. You can't drag files onto taskbar icons anymore. Microsoft removed it. Why? No explanation. It just doesn't work. Users discovered it and reported it as a bug. Microsoft said it's by design. Not a bug, a feature removal. Drag and drop to the taskbar itself also broken. In Windows 10, you could drag a file to a taskbar application, hover, the window would pop up, and you'd drop the file where you wanted it. Windows 11, broken for months after launch. Microsoft eventually fixed it in a patch, but it took over a year. Greg Hammond is a video editor in Toronto. He works with Premiere Pro. His workflow involves dragging video files from File Explorer onto the Premiere Pro taskbar icon to import them quickly. He's done this thousands of times. Muscle memory. Windows 11 breaks it. He tries dragging files onto the icon. Nothing happens. He thinks it's a bug. Searches online. Finds out Microsoft intentionally removed it. His productivity drops. Tasks that took seconds now take minutes. Multiply that across a dozen projects a week, and he's losing hours. He's not adapting his workflow to Windows 11. He's switching to Linux Mint with DaVinci Resolve. Free software, better performance, and the taskbar works the way he expects. Microsoft lost a professional creative user because they broke drag and drop. The clock and calendar disaster. The Windows 10 taskbar had a clock showing time and date. Click it. Calendar pops up with your appointments from Outlook or other calendar apps. Super useful. Windows 11. The calendar is there, but it's broken. Clicking the clock opens a panel with calendar and notifications together. Looks nice. Doesn't work right. Third-party calendar integration is gone. Google Calendar, Apple Calendar, any non-Microsoft service, not supported. You can only see Microsoft 365 calendar events. If you use anything else, the calendar is useless, and you can't customize it. Windows 10 let you show or hide the date. Windows 11, you can't. The date is always there or never there, depending on taskbar size. No user choice. Worse, Microsoft removed the ability to show seconds in the taskbar clock. Windows 10, right-click the clock. Settings, toggle on seconds. Windows 11, the option is gone, completely removed. Users who rely on seeing seconds for time-sensitive work are out of luck. Microsoft's explanation. Showing seconds uses more CPU resources because the taskbar updates every second instead of every minute. They removed a feature to save 0.1% CPU usage. Power users are furious. These are people who upgrade their CPUs every 2 years. They have 12 core processors with power to spare. Microsoft is telling them they can't see seconds on the clock because it might use a tiny bit more processing power. Linda Vasquez is a stock trader in New York. She watches market movements in real time. Seconds matter. In Windows 10, she had the clock showing seconds so she could timestamp trades mentally. Windows 11 removes it. She contacts Microsoft support. They tell her to use a third-party app if she needs seconds. She's being told to install third-party software to restore basic functionality the OS used to have. She's switching to Linux Mint. She found a taskbar applet that shows seconds, milliseconds, whatever she wants. Fully customizable. Microsoft lost a professional user because they removed a clock feature to save negligible CPU usage. The system tray that hides everything. Windows 10 had a system tray with icons for background applications. You could configure which icons show and which hide in the overflow menu. User control. Windows 11 redesigned it. Now it's a corner overflow menu that hides icons aggressively, and you have limited control over what shows. Some icons are forced to hide, some are forced to show. Microsoft decides, not you. VPN indicators, antivirus status, backup software, hardware monitoring tools, all hidden by default. You have to click the overflow arrow to see them. Extra click every time. And Microsoft made certain icons impossible to always show. Even if you configure them to display, Windows 11 hides them after a while. The operating system overrides your settings. Your computer, Microsoft's rules. Users running multiple background tools are constantly clicking the overflow menu. It slows workflow. It's frustrating. Microsoft's justification: a cleaner taskbar looks better. Aesthetics over functionality. They prioritized appearance over user productivity. Jason Wu is a network administrator in Singapore. He manages servers remotely. He runs VPN software, SSH clients, monitoring tools, all with system tray icons so he can see connection status at a glance. Windows 11 hides them. He configured them to always show. Windows hides them anyway. He's clicking the overflow menu 50 times a day just to check if his VPN is connected. He's done. He switches to Linux Mint. The system tray shows whatever he wants, always visible, always accessible. Microsoft lost an IT professional because they decided he can't see his own software icons. The group policy disaster for businesses. Microsoft markets Windows 11 to enterprises. Big companies with thousands of PCs. IT departments manage them with group policies. Centralized settings that control how Windows behaves across the organization. Windows 10 had group policies for taskbar customization. IT could configure taskbar layout, pin specific apps, remove certain icons, enforce consistency. Windows 11 removed most of those policies. IT departments upgrade and discover they can't control the taskbar anymore. Apps they need pinned won't stay pinned. Layouts they configured don't apply. Microsoft removed the management tools businesses rely on. Martin Delgado is IT director for a logistics company in Chicago with 600 employees. They use specialized shipping software that needs to be pinned to the taskbar on every PC. In Windows 10, he deployed a group policy. Taskbar configured automatically. Simple. He starts testing Windows 11 in early 2022. The group policy doesn't work. The taskbar layout won't apply. He searches Microsoft's documentation, finds out the group policy was removed. Microsoft's recommendation: use Windows Configuration Designer instead. He tries it. It's more complicated, less flexible, and doesn't support some of the configurations he needs. He escalates to Microsoft support. They confirm the old policies are gone. New tools don't have feature parity. Microsoft released Windows 11 to businesses without finishing the management tools businesses need. His company is staying on Windows 10 until end of life, then migrating to Linux. They're testing Ubuntu LTS. It has better management tools than Windows 11. Microsoft is losing a 600-seat enterprise license because they shipped incomplete software. And it's not just small companies. Large enterprises are noticing. HP, Dell, Lenovo, all the major PC manufacturers report that businesses are buying Windows 10 licenses and downgrading new hardware, paying for Windows 11 PCs, and immediately installing Windows 10 because Windows 11 isn't ready for enterprise use. Microsoft knows this. Internal data shows Windows 11 adoption in enterprise is under 15%. Consumer adoption is higher, but businesses won't touch it. The taskbar restrictions are a major reason. IT departments can't manage it effectively, so they're not deploying it. The third-party software that tried to fix it. When Windows 11 launched, developers saw the restrictions and immediately built workarounds. Explorer Patcher, StartAllBack, Start 11. These tools restore Windows 10 taskbar functionality to Windows 11. They're popular, millions of downloads, paid software making money because Microsoft broke basic features. Explorer Patcher is open source and free. It brings back the Windows 10 taskbar completely, movable, resizable, full context menus, everything. Users install it, and Windows 11 becomes usable. Microsoft's response: they keep patching Windows 11 in ways that break these tools. Updates roll out, Explorer Patcher stops working. The developer fixes it. Microsoft releases another update, breaks it again. It's a constant battle. Microsoft isn't officially blocking third-party tools, but they're changing APIs and internal structures in ways that make the tools fragile. StartAllBack is commercial software. You pay $5 for a license. It restores the Windows 10 Start menu and Taskbar. Over 2 million users paid for it. That's $10 million in revenue for a third-party developer because Microsoft refuses to give users basic customization. The developer, Taihai, is one person. He's making millions because Microsoft won't listen to user feedback, and Microsoft's updates keep breaking his software too. Every major Windows update, StartAllBack needs a patch. Taihai releases updates within days, but users are frustrated. They're paying for software to fix an operating system they already paid for through the cost of their PC. That's absurd. Rachel Connors is an accountant in Melbourne. She upgraded to Windows 11 in March 2023, hated the taskbar immediately, found StartAllBack online, paid $5, installed it. Everything's better. 2 months later, Windows Update breaks it. Taskbar reverts to default. She restarts, still broken. She checks StartAllBack's website. Update available. She installs it. Fixed. This happens 3 more times in 6 months. She's tired of it. She's not paying to fix Microsoft's OS every few months. She switches to Linux Mint. LibreOffice handles all her accounting files. No issues. Microsoft lost a user because their updates kept breaking the tools users need to make Windows usable. Why Microsoft really removed customization? Here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. Microsoft didn't remove taskbar customization because it was too hard to rebuild. They removed it because they want control. Windows is transitioning from user-controlled software to a service Microsoft controls. They don't want you customizing the interface because customization means variation. Variation means inconsistency. Inconsistency means Microsoft can't standardize how they push features, ads, integrations, subscriptions. A locked-down taskbar is easier to monetize. If Microsoft wants to add a Copilot button, they can force it. Users can't remove it, can't move it, can't hide it. It's there. Permanent, that's the goal. A taskbar Microsoft controls, not users. Look at the Widgets button. Windows 11 added a Widgets panel. News, weather, stocks, all powered by Microsoft Start. It's essentially ads and content Microsoft curates. There's a button for it on the taskbar. You can hide the button, but the feature is always running. And Microsoft keeps re-enabling the button. You hide it, a Windows update turns it back on. They want that button visible because it drives engagement with Microsoft's content platform. More engagement means more ad revenue. Same with the Copilot button. Microsoft added it to the taskbar in a 2023 update. It's pinned by default. You can hide it, but you can't remove it completely. Even if hidden, Copilot runs background processes, uses system resources, phones home to Microsoft, all happening without your permission, because Microsoft wants AI engagement metrics to show investors. The taskbar became a billboard. Microsoft is advertising their services on an OS you paid for on hardware you own. And they removed customization so you can't take the billboard down. The breaking point for power users. Power users are the canaries in the coal mine. They install Windows on hundreds of PCs. They're the ones friends and family call for tech support. They influence purchasing decisions for businesses, schools, nonprofits. When power users abandon Windows, regular users follow eventually. The taskbar restrictions are driving power users to Linux in record numbers. Forums are filled with migration stories. Every week, dozens of posts. Finally left Windows for Linux Mint. Here's why. The reasons are consistent. Lack of customization, forced features, Microsoft overriding user settings. Christopher Lang is a YouTube tech reviewer with 500,000 subscribers. In August 2023, he made a video, Why I'm Switching to Linux After 15 Years of Windows. Taskbar restrictions are number 2. He shows on camera how Windows 11 won't let him move the taskbar, won't let him resize it, keeps adding buttons he doesn't want. The video gets 2.3 million views. Comments are overwhelmingly supportive. Microsoft lost mindshare. A major tech influencer publicly abandoned Windows, and his audience is following. Linux Mint's adoption surge. Linux Mint is the distribution benefiting most from Windows 11's failures. It's designed for Windows refugees. The interface is familiar. Taskbar at the bottom, Start menu on the left, System tray on the right. Everything works like Windows used to, and it respects user choice. You can move the taskbar wherever you want. Resize it, add panels, customize everything. DistroWatch shows Linux Mint consistently in the top 3. Download numbers are up 40% year over year. The Linux Mint team reports their user base grew by over 30% in 2023 alone. That's millions of new users coming from Windows. The Linux Mint forums are full of Windows refugees asking for help. The community is welcoming. Within days, new users are productive. They're not going back. Clement Lefebvre, lead developer of Linux Mint, said Windows 11 is the best thing that ever happened to Linux Mint. Microsoft's restrictions are driving users to alternatives. Hannah Price is a university student in Manchester. She bought a laptop with Windows 11 in September 2023. She hated it immediately. The taskbar annoyed her. She wanted it on top, like her old Windows 7 desktop. Can't do it. She searches for solutions, finds Linux Mint. She's not a tech person. She's studying literature, but the installation is easy. 1 hour later, she's running Linux Mint. The taskbar is on top. Everything works. Microsoft lost a young user who could have been a Windows customer for 50 years because the taskbar was locked to the bottom. The corporate exodus begins. Businesses are evaluating alternatives. Companies that went all in on Google Workspace are moving to Chromebooks. Companies using cross-platform software are testing Linux. Windows used to be mandatory. Now, web applications dominate. Most business software runs in a browser. Office 365 is cloud-based. There's less dependency on Windows-specific software. So why pay for Windows licenses if the OS frustrates users and Linux is free? A mid-sized consulting firm in Austin with 150 employees tested Linux Mint in late 2023. They set up 20 workstations with Mint for administrative staff. 6 months later, 0 complaints. Productivity unchanged. IT support tickets actually decreased. The firm is expanding the pilot. If that goes well, the whole company switches. That's 150 Windows licenses Microsoft loses. The accessibility nightmare, one group hurt most, users with disabilities. In Windows 10, users could customize the taskbar for accessibility, make it larger for better visibility, move it to the side to reduce mouse travel distance. Windows 11 removes those options. The taskbar is locked. Users with visual impairments can't enlarge it. Users with motor impairments can't reposition it. Pamela Ford is a graphic designer in Boston with low vision. In Windows 10, she made the taskbar taller so icons were bigger. Windows 11 won't let her. The taskbar is locked at default size. She files feedback with Microsoft. No response. She switches to Linux Mint. She can make the panel any size she wants. Microsoft lost a user because they ignored accessibility. Microsoft's response to the backlash. Microsoft's official response to taskbar complaints. We're listening and will consider feedback for future updates. That's corporate speak for we're not changing it. They've said this for over 2 years. No movement. They added some features back, like showing labels on taskbar icons. But the core restrictions remain. You still can't move the taskbar. You still can't resize it. The locked-down taskbar is intentional, and it's staying. In an internal Microsoft meeting leaked to The Verge in early 2023, a Windows executive said the taskbar was rebuilt from the ground up to enable future features, and that restoring old customization options would require significant rework they didn't plan to prioritize. Translation: they broke it on purpose, and they're not fixing it. Users can adapt or leave. Millions are choosing to leave. The data Microsoft doesn't want you to see. StatCounter shows Windows 11 at around 28% of Windows users as of early 2024. That's after more than 2 years on the market. Windows 7 reached 50% in less time. Windows 10 reached 40% in 18 months. Windows 11 is the slowest adopted Windows version in history, even slower than Windows 8. The taskbar is a major part of that dissatisfaction. And Linux desktop market share is climbing. StatCounter shows Linux at 4% globally in early 2024, up from 2.5% 2 years earlier. That's a 60% increase. The growth is accelerating. In certain regions, it's higher. India, Linux is over 7%, Brazil, over 5%. The taskbar represents Microsoft's shift from user-focused to control-focused. Users notice and they're voting with their feet. The future Microsoft is creating. If Microsoft doesn't reverse course, Windows becomes a walled garden, locked-down interface, forced features, subscription services, ads in the taskbar, AI monitoring everything, user customization limited to approved options. Essentially, Windows becomes iOS for the desktop, but Microsoft controls only software. Most Windows PCs are made by Dell, HP, Lenovo, Asus, Acer. If Windows drives users away, PC sales drop. Hardware manufacturers are already diversifying. Dell and HP are shipping more Linux laptops. Lenovo has Ubuntu-certified devices, and users are realizing they have options. For 30 years, Windows was the only choice. Now Linux is polished, compatible, easy to use. The moat around Windows has dried up. The taskbar disaster is pushing users to explore alternatives. Once they do, many don't come back. The community leading the migration. The Linux community has never been more active in helping Windows refugees. YouTube is full of tutorials with millions of views. Subreddits are welcoming. The barrier to entry is lower than ever. You don't need to be a programmer. Modern Linux distributions are point and click, just like Windows. The scary reputation Linux had is gone. It's friendly now. Mark Patterson is a retired teacher in Arizona. He's 68 years old, not tech-savvy. Windows 11 frustrated him. He saw a YouTube video about Linux Mint. He watched tutorials. He installed it on his old laptop. It worked. He's been using it for a year. No problems. He prefers it to Windows. If a 68-year-old retiree can switch to Linux and be happy, anyone can. What Microsoft needs to do? The solution is obvious. Restore user control. Let people move the taskbar. Let them resize it. Bring back the features Windows 10 had. Listen to feedback. Stop forcing features. Stop overriding user settings. That's it. The technology isn't hard. Windows 10 already did it. They just need to admit the Windows 11 taskbar was a mistake. But they won't. Microsoft's leadership is committed to the current path. They believe locking down the interface is necessary for long-term strategy. They're willing to lose power users, willing to lose market share, because they think they can make more money from subscriptions and services than from user satisfaction. That's the bet they're making. And if they're wrong, Windows dies. Not immediately. But over the next decade, Windows could become irrelevant. Adoption is slow. Alternatives are growing. Microsoft has time to fix this, but the clock is ticking. Every day they don't restore taskbar customization, more users migrate. The exodus is happening right now, and it's accelerating. If you found this eye-opening, share it, because Microsoft isn't going to tell you their OS is driving users away. They'll keep reporting revenue growth from cloud services and pretend Windows is fine. But Windows 11 adoption numbers don't lie.